This is another issue of Christopher Reads the Help Files. This is Projects, Autodesk Vault Projects, and topics in this section is just a list of topics. So I'm just going to get right into each one of those sections. Well, that seems a bit redundant. This all should be in the Autodesk Vault Projects, I think. Or I guess there's a drop down here. I guess. Kind of odd. So topics in this section. About Vault. Autodesk Vault is a complete document management system for drawings, project objects, and project-related files. About Autodesk, or about Vault configuration. The Autodesk Vault installation help file details recommendations for configuring your Vault installation. To configure Vault for use with Autodesk Civil 3D. About Vault project folders. Any file, drawing or not, that is associated with a project, especially any file that would benefit from version control, should be stored in the project. Temporary files, such as preliminary design drawings, do not need to be stored in the project. That kind of defeats the purpose of having a project folder. Whatever. To create subfolders for objects in Autodesk Vault projects, to run Autodesk Vault Client from the prospector tree, to work with Autodesk Vault Client, to migrate old AutoCAD Civil 3D projects, about Vault Pack and Go. Use the Vault Pack and Go feature to hand off project data to someone else. About Vault. Autodesk Vault is a complete document management system for drawings, project objects, and project-related files. Note, the topics in this section are applicable only to paid versions of Autodesk Vault. Autodesk Vault Basic does not interface with the Prospector tab. Autodesk Vault provides access control and version control for all project drawings. One master copy of each drawing is maintained in the project database. Other team members can reference the master copy, and they are notified when the master copy is updated. Most project team members can access all required Vault features using the Prospector tree. However, you'll need a knowledgeable system administrator who installs the server and client Vault software, uses Autodesk Vault Client to customize Vault for your purposes, and regularly performs system administration tasks such as data backups. Most of the topics in this section are geared towards your system administrator, and this is probably why Vault did not take off. Tip. Some tasks, such as managing user accounts, can be done with either the Autodesk Civil 3D Vault tool or Autodesk Vault Client. When help suggests using the Autodesk Civil 3D Vault tool to perform a task, you can often use Autodesk Vault Client instead. For information about installing Vault, see the Autodesk Vault Client Installation Guide. Autodesk Vault provides access control and file version control. Autodesk Civil 3D provides commands in the Prospector tree to create and access project drawings and shared project data. After you've logged into Vault, each project visible to the Vault user is displayed as a collection on the projects node of the Prospector tree. Note, the projects collection is available in Prospector only if you have installed either Autodesk Vault Professional or Autodesk Vault Workgroup. If you have installed Autodesk Vault Basic, the Vault interface is not integrated with Civil 3D and is identical to Autodesk Vault Basic for AutoCAD. They already said that. Project drawings. A project contains a collection of project drawings. You can use folders to organize the drawings within a project. A master copy of a project drawing is maintained in a specific project within a Vault database, and only one person can edit the master copy at a time. When the edited project drawing is updated in the Vault database, a new version of the drawing is created. The icons displayed next to a drawing in the Prospector tree indicate the status of your local copy of the drawing in relation to the master copy of the drawing in the Vault database. Project objects and references. A project contains collections of project objects such as surfaces, alignments, profiles, pipe networks, pressure networks, and view frame groups that can be shared with others. All shared project objects are listed in the project object collections in the Prospector tree. Project members can create a read-only copy of the project object called a reference in a drawing. This read-only copy of the project's object geometry can be used to perform labeling, design, analysis, or what-if tasks. Multiple project members can create references to the same shared project object. I don't see corridors in here, so I'm interested. So I'm not quite sure, but are corridors not a reference type in Vault like it is in civil, in, I don't know, regular project? Project points. When using Vault, project management for Autodesk Civil 3D points is handled differently from project management for other objects. But then they don't tell you. What tool is used for project management commands? The project management commands that are listed on Prospector context menus can vary depending on several factors, including the following: whether you've logged into Vault from the Prospector tree, whether you have configured Vault for use with Autodesk Civil 3D, the state, for example, checked in or checked out, of the selected project item, the location of the project item in the Prospector tree. For example, some drawing-related commands are available at the Open Drawings collection level, some are available at the Projects collection level, and some are available at both levels. Whether or not the selected drawing has been saved, any circumstances that make the operation invalid for the selected item, the user information that is defined for you on the current Vault server also affects the actions you are permitted to perform. For example, you might have permission to get copies of project drawings, but not create project drawings. The Vault interface in Autodesk Civil 3D. This section describes how the available versions of Vault interface with Autodesk Civil 3D. There are paid and free versions of Autodesk Vault. The free version of Vault, which is commonly known as either Autodesk Vault Basic or simply Vault, is a stand-only application. It must be launched independently of Autodesk Civil 3D and does not use the Prospector interface that is described in this help system. Autodesk Vault Basic interfaces with Autodesk Civil 3D in the same way that it does with other Autodesk products. For more information about Autodesk Vault Basic, see the help system that is shipped with it. The paid versions of Vault, Autodesk Vault Professional, there's no comma there, and Autodesk Vault Workgroup are closely integrated with the Autodesk Civil 3D interface. In these versions of Vault, you manage project objects using the Prospector interface that is described in this help system. Note, a Vault database must be configured before it can be accessed in the Prospector tree. About Vault configuration. The Autodesk Vault installation help contains detailed recommendations for configuring your Vault installation. Note, a Vault must be configured before it can be accessed in the Prospector tree. For more information, see to configure Vault for use with Autodesk Civil 3D. They're repeating a lot of stuff. A single site configuration is recommended for most teams. The Vault server is installed on one system, and the Vault client component is installed on each computer that must communicate with that server. The server stores all master copies of the data files, and the clients can access the files stored on the server. For best performance, a dedicated server is recommended for both the file store and the shared metadata. I think it's funny that Autodesk didn't use this workflow for their BIM 360 instead of threw it up. It's kind of like, oh, we have to maintain it. Oh, we don't want to do that. We're going to redo it. So instead of providing an awesome workflow for the users, it's kind of like, oh, shove it off on them. And then when they have to manage it, when Autodesk has to manage it, it's like, oh, let's create a whole new system. You have flexibility within this model to choose a configuration that suits your requirements, based on criteria such as the number of users who must share data, how your users are divided into design teams, and the amount of project data you expect your users to generate. After Vault is installed, you can decide to create a single Vault or multiple Vaults on the server. User permissions apply within a single Vault, and cannot be shared across vaults. For information on the difference between a single vault configuration and a multiple vault configuration, see the Autodesk Vault help. Vault's multi-site features designed to support geographically dispersed workflows sharing vaults. A single instance of remote SQL manages multiple servers, each with its own file store, at separate office sites. Depending on their level of permissions, all users can see all files at all sites as if the system was a single database. As long as the file remains. When a user checks out a file that is stored at another site, the system replicates that file at the user's site. As long as the file names remain shared, the system remembers to update that copy with any changes. Vaults and individual files are replicated only where they are really in use. Backup and restore operations can be managed from any site that has all vaults enabled. For more information, see the Autodesk Vault help. Controlling access to project data. You can control who has access and edit project drawings and master copies of project objects. Vault allows you to control access to project files at several levels: users, groups, and work groups. With careful planning, you can minimize the amount of configuration required and create a flexible security system. User. To ensure a secure environment, define a separate Vault user account for each person who will be accessing project data on the project server. Each account requires a unique username and password. Group. Create a different Vault group for each function performed by members of your organization. For example, you can create a set of groups including surveyors, whose members would create and edit master copies of data in a folder such as e.g. surfaces, civil engineers, whose members would usually read but not modify data in the e.g. surfaces folder, and would create and edit master data in a folder such as alignments, and drafters whose members would generally read data but would not modify master copies of data. Access then can be further restricted to individual groups or users at the folder level. Note, it is recommended that you control access to project files at the group level. In general, each team member should belong to only one group. To change how someone accesses project files, move their username from one group to another. Partitioning project data. You should divide your project data across multiple drawings using a strategy that both protects data integrity and supports ease of access. Well, that just doesn't make it easy to access data. In Autodesk Civil 3D, there's one master copy of each project object. They obviously haven't met a lot of users. You copy, do save as. It's insane. Such as a surface, alignment, profile, or pipe network. And that master copy is stored in a source drawing that is stored in the Project Vault database. There are virtually no restrictions on how many project objects you can store in the same drawing, but there are some factors you should consider. A key determining factor in how you partition your project data is the ability of team members to create and modify project data when they need to. Because only one person can edit a drawing at a time, placing the master copy of every project object into the same drawing is too restrictive for a collaborative environment. In general, spreading your project objects across many drawings makes more sense than crowding many objects into fewer drawings. You know, what really makes sense is to go back to Land Desktop and have a text file that contains like the alignment data, profile data, and then that way you just go and manage those text files instead of trying to manage drawings. And it would be a lot quicker because then you could just go open up the text file, which is has a lower overhead than opening up a drawing. But obviously we can't go back to text files to make it easy. We got to use these huge drawings and waste all this time grabbing the drawing and copying it over. For each project object, create a separate drawing that contains the geometry of the project object, and, if needed, related project objects. Consider placing each surface in a separate drawing. At the very least, consider placing a key surface, such as an existing ground surface, in its own drawing. You should avoid placing all your project alignments in the same drawing. The function of a drawing should match its content. If a drawing contains the master copy of a surface object, that drawing should also be a plain profile sheet. To keep the project object geometry in its own drawing and create separate drawings for viewing and annotating read-only copies of the geometry. It is important to understand that a single project must contain all of the data that is required for that project. A drawing cannot contain references to more than one project at a time. Adhering to a consistent naming convention will make the drawings that contain master copies of a project objects easy to identify. Name a drawing that contains a project surface with the same name as the surface. Name a drawing that contains a project alignment with the name of the alignment. Store project drawings in appropriately named folders. Develop procedures that minimize the number of shared objects. Make sure that team members understand that when adding or checking in a drawing, they should not share an object unless it is needed by others. It just indicates that the whole system's broken, and whoever came up with this just really wanted to make it overly hard for users instead of just quickly being able to grab the data and share it. Project files created in a project database. When an Autodesk Civil 3D project is created, an initial set of empty or near empty files is created in the project database. Data is added to these files as you add drawings and data to the project. When an Autodesk Civil 3D project is created, an initial set of empty or near empty files is created in the project database. Each time a surface, alignment, pipe network, or view frame group project object is created, a corresponding .c3d data file is created. The .c3d data file creates reference to the appropriate object in its source drawing. When the object is modified in the source drawing, the C3D data file enables modifications to be reflected in any consumer drawings. Note, do not delete, modify, or move .c3d data files, and do not modify the project structure in Vault. The Vault project may become corrupted if the files are moved. This file contains the project's point geometry. The points contained within the file are listed in the project's points list in Prospector tree. This file is not checked in and out directly as point drawing files are. It is checked in and out indirectly when users use point access control commands. This file contains access control information about the points in points geometry.mdb, including the status, checked in, checked out, or protected of individual points. This file represents the project survey database. For more information, see about survey databases. To configure Vault for use with Autodesk Civil 3D. Configure Vault so that it will be available in the Prospector tree. Note, you must perform this procedure on every Vault that you want to access from Autodesk Civil 3D. This procedure does not apply to Autodesk Vault Basic. Step 1. Launch Autodesk Vault Server. Note, you must log in as the user with the administrator rule. That's inconvenient. 2. In Autodesk Vault Server window, in the left pane, expand the Vault's collection. Step 3. Locate the Vault you want to access from the Autodesk Civil 3D Prospector tree. Right-click the Vault, click Import Configuration. Step 4. In the Open Configuration File dialog box, navigate to Vault Server Install Location, Program Files, Autodesk, ADMS, Vault Server Type, ADMS Console, Configuration, AEC Vault.cfg, click Open. Okay. About Autodesk Project Folders. About Vault Project Folders. Any file, drawing or not, that is associated with a project, especially any file that would benefit from version control, should be stored in the project. Temporary files, such as the preliminary design drawings, do not need to be stored in the project. For ease of use, all projects should use consistent folder structure and folder names. A practical structure is provided when you use the project template. You can easily create your own custom template if the default version is not suitable. Note, in general, a user who creates a folder or project data can delete it using Autodesk Vault. For this reason, it is recommended that all new projects be created by a system administrator. This will prevent other users from inadvertently deleting a project and associated files. You do not need to create a folder for point database files or survey database. These are automatically stored directly beneath the main project folder. A project can also include files that are not drawings. Using Vault, create folders for such files directly under the project folder. Possible folder names might include proposals, client correspondence, and contracts. You can store and access the files in non-drawing folders using the Vault tool. Working folders. When you work on objects, you check associated drawings out of a Vault and work with them from working folders. That's confusing because they use working folders in data shortcuts. The objects in a working folder are physically copied from a Vault file store. Other users can still get read-only copies of the files, but they cannot edit them until you have checked them back in. In this way, you maintain a single master version of each drawing. When you check a file back into Vault, the revised version from your working folder is copied to the file store on the server. The Vault database marks the file with the appropriate revision date and makes it available to other users. You can change your working folder without risk to the data in the Vault database, but you typically change the working folder only if you need to work with projects in different Vault databases. To avoid confusion, use a separate working folder for each Vault database. The default working folder location is C Users Public Documents Autodesk Civil 3D Projects. Project folder hierarchy. Projects can be created at any level in the hierarchy below the working folder. For example, within the working folder, you could have a folder named for the year, and then you can store projects associated with that year inside that folder. Autodesk Vault allows for projects and folders to be nested in any way, with as many levels as you want. When working with Autodesk Civil 3D, projects are always added to the working folder. Within the working folder, projects can be created at any level in the hierarchy below the working folder. Projects can be created directly within the working folder or within a subfolder in the working folder. The prospector tree can display project objects that exist in subfolders within the object type folders. For best results, avoid creating a project inside another project. The Prospector tab in Autodesk Civil 3D may display projects nested within other projects in an unexpected way. For example, folders that are empty may show at different levels in Prospector than folders which are located at the same level in the hierarchy as empty folders, which contain projects. For more information on best practices with working with folders, see Working Folder Configurations in the Autodesk Civil 3D Best Practices Guide. To create subfolders for your objects in Autodesk Vault Projects. You can organize your projects within subfolders by using Autodesk Vault. The subfolders are displayed in Prospector if they contain a project object. The following illustration shows two subfolders for project alignments in Prospector that exist within the Centerline Alignments folder. 1. Using Autodesk Civil 3D, create the project objects by adding the source drawings to the project. When you create the project objects, they are added to the object folders for the project. For example, surfaces are added to the Surfaces folder. 2. Open Autodesk Vault. 3. In Autodesk Vault, in the navigation pane, expand the Project Explorer project name Civil 3D Data folder to see the object folders. 4. Right-click an object folder and click New Folder. 5. Add a name for the new folder and click OK. 6. Drag and drop the objects that appear in the main pane to the new subfolder. You can move the objects to a subfolder that appears within the main pane or within the navigation pane. 7. In Autodesk Civil 3D, select the project's collections to make it active and then click refresh button or icon to refresh the view of the project folders. To run Autodesk Vault Client from the Prospector tree, you can access Autodesk Vault from the Prospector tree. You must log in to Vault from the Prospector tree before you can run Vault from the Prospector tree. 1. In Toolspace on the Prospector tab, right-click the project's collection. 2. Click Autodesk Vault. 3. If the Welcome dialog box is displayed, click Login. 4. In the Login dialog box, enter your Vault username. 5. Enter your password. 6. Select a Vault server. 7. Select a Vault database. Click the ellipsis button to list available databases. 8. Click OK. To work with Autodesk Vault Client. To add a new user in Autodesk Vault, each team member must have a user account on the Project Vault server before using project management commands. To ensure a secure environment, define a separate Vault user account for each person who will be accessing project data on the project server. Each account requires a unique username and password. Note, each instance of a Vault server has a separate set of user accounts, like Y. If a user requires access to multiple servers, you must define an account for him on each server. Like, Autodesk can't even create a script for you to use their same product and copy the data for you. You have to do it yourself. I mean, it's kind of a waste of time. Only a user with administrative privileges can add a user. So everyone becomes an administrator so they can add themselves to a project if the administrator's like out of vacation. So then security just becomes meaningless. When you add a new user to a server, you can specify a role for the user, which defines how the user will access data on the server. Autodesk Civil 3D Vault Project Management supports administrator, editor, and consumer roles for user accounts. In general, you'll find managing access to project data easier to control at the group level instead of at the individual user level. When you create a user account, specify a role for each user that gives them the highest level of access they require to any part of the database. To add a new user in Autodesk Vault, click Tools, Administration, and then use the Security tab to add a new user. For more information, see the Autodesk Vault Help. To set folder permissions. With Autodesk Vault in Autodesk Civil 3D, system administrators can extend permissions down to folders and subfolders in a Vault. Before setting folder permissions, you may want to manage specific Vault users, groups, or roles from the Tools menu in the Autodesk Vault client. 1. In the Vault client window, expand the Vault Explorer tree to the folder whose permissions you want to set. 2. Right-click on the folder, click Properties. 3. To add a user or group to the Access Control list, in the Properties dialog box, Security tab, click Add. 4. In the Add Members dialog box, select the members to add to the Access Control list, click Add. 5. Click OK. 6. In the Properties dialog box, click OK. To create Vault groups, use Vault groups to manage and control access to project files. Use Autodesk Vault to add a group to a Vault server. Only a user with administrative privileges can add a group. When you create a group, you specify generally how the group's members should access project data by assigning the group the role of data editor, which means that members of the group can add or edit data, or data consumer, which means the group members can only read data and not edit it. In general, a user should belong to only one group. To change someone's access to project files, move their username from one group to another. To add a group in Vault, click Tools, Menu, Administration, Global Settings, and then use the Security tab to add the group. You can also add users to a group here. For more information, see the Autodesk Vault Help. To view relationships between project objects and drawings, you can use the Vault client to find drawings that reference a project objects, as well as which objects are consumed in a given drawing. Using the Vault client, you can view relationships for either project objects or project drawings. Note, do not delete, modify, or move .c3d data files, and do not modify the project structure in Vault. The Vault project may become corrupted if the files are moved. To view object relationships, 1. In the Vault client tree, expand the project, expand Civil 3D data, object collection that contains the object you want to view. 2. In the Vault client workspace, select the appropriate object.c3d data file. 3. Use the Uses and Where Used tabs to examine the object's relationship to project drawings. To view drawing relationships, in the Vault client tree, expand the project folder that contains the drawing you want to view. In the Vault client workspace, select the appropriate drawing. 3. Use the Uses and Uses Where Used tabs to examine the drawing's relationships to project objects and drawings. To migrate old Autodesk Civil 3D projects, Projects containing databases requiring migration are indicated with the out-of-date icon. Older projects must be migrated before they can be opened. You must log into Vault from the prospector tree before the project migration command is available. For projects created in Autodesk Civil 3D 2007 to 2010, old school, both the project and associated survey databases, including equipment and figure databases, must be migrated before they can be opened. Note, only users with the role of either administrator, document editor level 1, document editor level 2, document manager level 1, or document manager level 2 can successfully import a Vault project. I don't remember any of these being mentioned before. I don't recall. Type levels being discussed earlier in help. There was only 3, and D types wasn't listed. What's up with that? So I'm not quite sure what these new levels are. All right, to migrate a project from AutoCAD Civil 3D 27 or later, 1, in Toolspace on Prospector tab, right-click the project's collection. 2, projects that require migration are indicated with the out-of-date icon. Right-click on a project that requires migration and select Migrate. 3, a warning dialog displays and indicates that migrated projects are not backwards compatible with previous versions of Autodesk Civil 3D. Click Yes to continue. The selected project and associated databases are checked out, migrated, and then checked back in with an incremented version. Tip: all projects requiring migration can be migrated at once by right-clicking on the project's collection and selecting Migrate. To migrate a project from AutoCAD Civil 3D 2016 or earlier, 1, in Toolspace on the Prospector tab, right-click the project's collection. 2, click Migrate Pre-Civil 3D 2007 project. 3, in the Select Civil 3D Project folder, navigate to Migrate dialog box. Browse to the project folder to be migrated. 4, select the folder that contains the project and click Open. The new project is created on the Vault server in the database that you're logged into. Let's see. I think 2006 and pre are data shortcuts, and they are the ones being migrated to Vault. This reads as if they were Vaults. Vault was introduced. I think it was introduced in Civil 3D 2007 plus files. So I'll go ahead and submit that. About Vault Pack and Go. Use the Vault Pack and Go feature to hand off project data to someone else. Pack and Go resolves file dependencies for a drawing. This feature can be used to supply copies of project files to someone. It is not intended for making copies of project files that you want to edit and then return to the project. For example, if your firm begins a project by doing a survey, creating the base map and completing the parcel layout, and then passes the drawing and associated data to a civil engineer who completes the job, you could use Pack and Go in Autodesk Vault to assemble the information related to the drawing before you hand it off. For more information, see the Autodesk Vault help. Note, Pack and Go works only on files. To export an entire file, use the Export to Zip command. For more information, see to export to a Vault project to a zip file. And so this concludes another episode of Christopher Reads the Help Files.